Hello everyone, and today we're going to be having a discussion around the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon deck type here. It's one of my favorite decks basically ever. As you can tell, you know, from some of the channel art, from the outro and stuff, it is definitely a very cool card. It was actually the first card I'd ever used in a semi-competitive deck in real life. So I do really like this deck. Now, what we've been doing so far on the channel is we've been covering off competitive decks, rogue decks that we can take to a competitive level. Everything I have put on the channel up until now, you can 100% not only get to Diamond, but excel in Diamond with every single deck, every single video I put up so far. All of them. This one, I will have to say you can't. I will be perfectly honest. This deck belongs on Platinum. It will win in Platinum, it will not win in Diamond. We have a couple of wins and stuff of it, and when it pops off, but this is by no means even a somewhat competitive rogue deck at the minute. It just isn't. I really wish it was. I've been trying so very hard to make it competitive. It wasn't competitive when the game first came out. And since then, so many new threats have been introduced. Like, trying to cope with Sword Souls is impossible. DPE automatically destroys this deck because a lot of this deck centers around having monsters that are exactly 2000 attack points to synergize with your deck, and he reduces your monsters by 400. So DPE completely destroys you, and that's everywhere. Powerful boss monsters like Baron de Fleur, the artifact Scythe Lock, things like that, it just have made it impossible for this deck to compete in a legitimate manner. Yes, you can get fancy replays, yes, you can get cool OTKs, and we do have a little bit of that. It is super fun, but don't get the wrong idea. I'm not trying to sell this to you as a competitive deck, because it's not. You know, I wouldn't want to lie. But yeah, this is going to be one of the most competitive ways to play it. If you are currently in Platinum, you can use something like this to rank up, or if you're potentially just a fan of the archetype and you want to maybe play it in smaller groups, play it in duel rooms, things like that, by all means, take it, build it, try it. And if you can make it better than what I'm playing it, let me know. Show me sort of what you've done to make it work, because so far when I've been playing it, it hasn't been. So we're not going to go over a sort of super in-depth deck profiler right now. I'm going to very quickly summarize your turn one if you're going first or you're going second. If you're going second, which is usually what you want, you're using your lightning storms, your maxi, things like that to generate loads of advantage, to wipe out your opponent's boards if at all possible. You need Caught by the Grave to try and counter DPE. You just need it. You can also run things like Evenly Matched. I think Evenly Matched is a really good fit in this style of deck if you want to potentially cut out the effect failures or ashes or whatever. Either way, your objective is break boards and then OTK with number 62. If you have number 62 on the field and you created it using the Afterglow Dragon, it can detach the Afterglow Dragon. Its attack will go up to like 11,200 OTK. I'll explain that full combo later on. But if you're going second, clear the board, break the board using your breakers, OTK with number 62. Really simple. If you're going first, which isn't as strong for the deck, you're relying on Saber Dragon Infinity, which you can summon off of 2 soldiers. And you can summon out number 90, which is your main going first card. So it's a monster negate. It can't be destroyed by card effects whenever it has a Photon Dragon as material. So it can negate and pop effects, it can protect itself, and during your opponent's turn, it can also search your deck for a card and either equip it onto him as material or add it to your hand. So he's a very powerful card. He's probably the main one you want to summon going first. You can also go into the Harbinger Dragon if you have excess materials, but usually you want to end on Infinity plus at least one of these two. If you've got a really good hand, you can even go into the Buster Lock, which is really cool. It doesn't happen very often, but you can do it, or you can just cut that completely. Either way, you do what you want. But yeah, we're going to take this deck in here. We've got 4 games lined up, couple of wins, couple losses, because again, it isn't that great. It's strong and it's really cool, but it doesn't have a place in the current metagame, like, at all. It just doesn't. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing here, if you like this sort of content where we're not always covering super competitive things, I have a couple of other decks I've been trying to optimize that just aren't it in the current metagame, like Utopia. Utopia was a lot stronger back when the game first came out, but it's just having a really difficult time keeping up. But decks like that I've been playing around with, trying to build around. If anyone wants to see that type of content, let me know. Again, comment section is there. I reply to basically everyone who leaves a comment. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing, you want to see anything more of it, hit subscribe and hang around, because we post at least a few videos a week, just whenever I can get a day off, basically. So yeah, I'll get in then the game number 1. Alrighty, game number 1, and this is us going second. I've ironically never had such good luck when it came to coin tosses, which was really awkward because you actually sort of want to lose the coin toss using this deck. You don't want your opponent to know you're playing a go second deck, which was a little bit of a strange interaction, but that's fine. Our opponent's playing heroes. They're just going to go into Verte Anaconda to get a DPE here, which we're not too worried about. It is what it is. Now, here's something important to know. He's going to pop these cards here, which is smart, so you can't get super polyed. Now, to counter DPE in this position, you need to turn your toggle on. If your toggle is on, you'll be able to use Call by the Grave before they can use the Destroyer Phoenix and Fortress effect. But if your toggle's not on, you don't get that prompt. So you need to have it on. We're going to Lightning Storm in the back row. We will discard a Light Monster to summon out our Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier will grab the Photon Dragon, so we have a level 8 to discard off of trade-in. We discard, draw 2. We normal summon the Galaxy Knight. Whenever it's normal summoned, you can resurrect the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon from the graveyard. We're going to link summon using these two into the Galaxy Eyes Soulflower Dragon, which will add a Galaxy or Photon monster back to hand. We grab Orbital. Orbital will equip onto the Photon Dragon, then send itself to the grave to grab the Soulflower Dragon. Soulflower Dragon, if you control a Galaxy Eyes, will special summon itself. This was us setting up for our OTK, but our opponent unfortunately has Nibiru. This is what I'm saying. It doesn't have that sort of protection. It doesn't have a lot of built-in negating power right off the bat. So we get Nibiru, which is unfortunate. We do use Maxi before the Nibiru, so we can draw 2, which is, you know, that's good. I figured, you know, we're not going to survive if we don't draw these 2 cards, and it's really lucky that we did this. Now, you're going to see here an interaction that I specifically listed in my Heroes video, and if our opponent had seen that, they would have known not to do this. So our opponent made a huge mistake here. He activated Faris, his Chainlink 1, and then Shadow Mist is Chainlink 2. Now, I covered this in my video about Heroes. You always use Shadow Mist Chainlink 1, and then Faris is Chainlink 2, because then your Shadow Mist can't get ashed. So the way he's activated it, I can ash the Shadow Mist, and then I can Veil the Faris. Most things that would activate in response to a Faris are things that will simply target the card. You're talking Imperm, you're talking Effective Veiler. The only one that he's really protecting himself from is Ghost Ogre, and you don't really care about that in this specific one. I suppose it sort of matters to him right now, but that's not a common enough card to play around, whereas Ash is everywhere. So he gets completely shut down there. He's going to set 2 and pass. We draw into the Soulflower Dragon. We decide to try our luck. We're just going to swing here for lethal, see if we can. I figured he had something. Not a lot of people would just leave their field like that. So that's fine. He uses Mass Change. We take out the Dark Law before it can do any damage. So that suits us down to the ground. We'll discard a Light to summon Soldier. Soldier gets Impermed here, which was a bit of a pain. Because we would have liked to have that search. Because again, one of the biggest issues with this deck is it's so resource reliant. Like, it just needs resources and it burns through them so quickly. We're going to summon it to Soulflower Dragon to get our Galaxy Knight. Galaxy Knight, same as before, because we control a Galaxy or Photon monster, we normal summon it without sacrifice and it revives the Photon Dragon. We're going to go into number 90 and we're going to pass. So number 90 gives us a monster negate. He can't be destroyed by card effects, and he's big. He's got that 30k defense. He's not going to be able to be destroyed by Nibiru. We don't really care about the Soulflower Dragon getting popped there. So at the end of his turn, we're going to use our number 90 to search for a card. So we grab Orbital. That gives us quite a lot of versatility. And this is why number 90 is so important, because he doesn't fix, but he helps patch this sort of resource reliance. So we're going to send Orbital to grab our Photon Dragon, because Nebula Dragon, if you have another level 8 dragon in hand, will special summon itself and that other level 8 to the field. Our opponent goes to Max C here, but we're going to use number 90 to negate that. We don't need our opponent doing that. So let's see it here. Yep, so we get Nebula Dragon and the Photon Dragon. Such a cool looking card. We're going to go into the Cypher Dragon. Right. I misplayed quite heavily here. Oh no, it wasn't this video, sorry. There was another one where I misplayed quite heavily. So this one's grand. We go into the Cypher Dragon, we rank the Cypher Dragon up into full armor, then we just use the 2 of them to attack directly. So that's fine. There was another game where we messed up the Cypher play. You'll probably see that one. But yeah. The deck's straightforward. It is very straightforward, and usually that's a very good thing about a deck because it makes it easy to learn, very accessible to people. However, the issue with this one is its resource reliance, and this duel was a very good display of that, because as soon as we had our initial plays interrupted, we had nowhere to go. Whereas, like, if you're playing Sword Souls, for example, Sword Soul will be able to play through that easy. You know what I mean? It's a completely different sort of tier, to be honest. But yeah, this shows that the deck can definitely win. It's definitely got a lot of power behind it, you know. It can summon out 4k beaters, not a problem. It does have some level of control with number 90. It has some level of searching and consistency with the effects of number 90, Orbital, Soldier. You have a lot of searching power, but all of that searching power usually comes at quite a cost. So what the deck really sort of needs is a way to generate more resources. You can't really use Extravagance because you need your extra deck. Prosperity, you can totally play. I'm not the biggest on it because it doesn't, well, one, it is a very good card. It counteracts your actual objective, which is the OTK, and secondly, what's the best way to word this? It doesn't actually add resources. It lets you search for a specific card, but that's not what this deck needs. It doesn't need a card. It needs more cards, so that doesn't fix the problem. But yeah, I'll not ramble on too much about it here. There was a good display, you know, some of the strengths of the deck. We were going to be able to UTK turn 1. It didn't work out, but this shows the deck does have a bit of bite then coming back. So let's get in then to game number 2. Alright, game number 2 here. We're going second yet again, which again is the objective. Our opponent's playing Shadows. That puts us in a lot of danger. Shadows is a very, very good deck type. I'm super, super tempted to build this deck as soon as I'm done the one I'm currently building, which you guys will all see pretty soon. So we're going to go Construct, and we're going to summon the Squamata face down. They're going to send Schism to the graveyard so they can add it back later. Normal summon Alistair the Invoker. They're going to link summon into Verte Anaconda. Now when Construct is sent to the graveyard, it's going to grab that Schism and add it back to hand. So we can see, it's like it's not great for us, really, to sum it all up. It's going to go in here to an Invoked Macabre using one of the monsters he sent earlier on, the Gamma. He's going to return Invocation, he had Alistair back to hand, so we've got quite a lot of problems here. He's going to go DPE as well. So we've got DPE to pop one on our turn, we've got Macabre to negate one, and we have Schism, which is going to summon out a fusion monster. Now we all know which one is coming. So we'll draw one. We're going to use Maxi right off the bat because we know he's going to summon at least 2 times on this turn. I would rather have the +2 because we're going to need it. We go for trade in, discard the Galaxy Eyes to draw 2, but he actually negates that, which I was a little bit surprised by. I figured he was going to save that. Schism now activates, and it's going to banish from the field of grave to fusion summon. So goodbye you two to go into Winda. Winda basically means you can only special summon once per turn, so that is extremely difficult for Galaxy Eyes to play through, virtually impossible. So we're going to use the Photon Sanctuary to summon 2 tokens. We're going to tribute summon the Galaxy Eyes. Now our opponent doesn't pop preemptively because I guess he's never read this card. So when we swing in the Winda, then he activates the pop, so we chain the Galaxy Eyes as effect. It's going to banish the 2 of them until the end of the turn. That forces him to pop 2 of his own cards. He can't go back on the activation. So that was... it was the best that we could do, is what I'll say. It does help us get a little bit of advantage. He does end up sending the Winda, but we can ash that. We knew he was going to send Winda anyway. Or Wendy, or whatever it is you want to call it. So yeah, but at the end of the battle phase, Winda comes right back, and we're right back where we started. So it doesn't do an awful lot for us. This is a demonstration of how easily controlled this deck can be. There's no real follow-up, you know what I mean? Like DP completely destroyed us, and Macabre negating our trade-in really limited our resources. And then Winda by itself is enough to completely shut this deck down. Like, there's nothing we can do against the Winda, and I think I realized that here. Yeah, I wasn't going to sit and go through another turn for no reason. Winda completely shuts this deck down, and playing this game made me realize that Winda shuts a lot of decks down. Winda's a dangerous, dangerous card, and is one that I'm sort of maybe looking to test out a little bit very soon. But yeah, Winda is amazing. DPE completely shuts the deck down. Macabre providing that additional interruption. There was just no way, and that shows how I understand that's a very difficult thing for a lot of decks to play through, but still, there's just no way that this deck can compete in a metagame where those types of decks are commonplace. It's just not possible. But yeah, listen, I'm not going to sit and ramble on about the weaknesses. I already have done so far, so we're not going to go back over it. We're just going to get into game number 3. Okay, game 3. Let's see what our opponent is playing. So, Sword Souls, go figure. Again, best deck in the game. We're actually currently playing in Diamond 5. I was testing Utopia and that got us demoted. So we're currently in Diamond 5, which is fine. So he's going to summon the Taya after we negate the emergence. He's going to decrease his level and then summon Yazi, which I don't know if that was a misplay or what, but he had Summit in his hand, so I guess it wasn't. So he sends the Moyi off of Taya, Summit resurrects the Moyi, and then he goes to grab another token. That's his 5th summon. We don't want him to go any further, so we're going to Nibiru. So yeah, Nibiru is key in any going second type deck. We'll give him the token, put it in defense there. Now we're going to trade in. Again, the more resources you can generate, the better this deck performs without fail. We're going to discard a light to summon out our Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier will search for Knight, then normal summon Knight to get back the Galaxy Eyes. We were sort of left in a position here where we had to choose between a few options, so we ended up going into the Cypher Dragon. The Prime Photon Dragon wouldn't have done anything for us, but we actually misplay quite heavily here. So I didn't actually mean to activate the effect of the Cypher Dragon. I'm keeping this in just as education to be aware of it, because it's not a play you use very often. So with the Cypher Dragon's effect, what you can do is steal one of their monsters, it becomes the Cypher Dragon, and then you can use it to summon out the Cypher Cross Dragon. Now, this is a token, so it doesn't work like that, so you can't do it, unfortunately. So we decided we're going to swing in for 3k, get some damage out of the turn, because on the turn you use that, the only monster that can attack is the Cypher Dragon. So then we're going to rank the Cypher Dragon up into Cypher Cross Dragon. Then we'll link summon using the Biru and the token to grab the Soul Flare Dragon. Soul Flare will grab back our Photon Dragon. Then Orbital will activate. It's going to equip on the Soldier, then send itself to grave to grab another Soldier. We're going to summon the second Soldier out of the field. So the search is once per turn, but the summon isn't. You can summon multiple times. We're going to use it to go into Nova. We're going to use Nova to go into Infinity. Now, 2 big misplays this turn. 1 was the one we already talked about. 2, this effect is an ignition effect. At the time, I thought it was a quick effect, so I was going to use it during my opponent's draw phase, but no, I misunderstood. You use it during your turn, and then it lasts until the end of your opponent's turn. So by not activating this, I put myself in a very, very difficult spot. If you had have activated this effect, all of your light monsters would have been untargetable, and you'll see how that comes up. So 2 massive, massive misplays so far. So again, bear those in mind whenever you're playing the deck yourself. He's going to summon out the Ashuna here. Ashuna's going to go in the Monk of Tinyi. Ashuna's going to banish to summon out a Vishuda. We're sort of letting this go through because we're not really threatened by any of these plays. Then he goes with the Vishuda play. Now we have to negate this. If we had have used the Cypher Cross Dragon correctly, we would not have to negate this. So it's a wasted negate then, basically. Which is unfortunate. And you would think, looking at it, not the end of the world until you see he has Raigeki in his hand. So if we didn't need to use the Infinity for that, we could have saved it for the Raigeki. So really, really, really hurt us there. He's going to go Shaman into Taya. Taya will banish 1 to summon a token. Then he's going to go into the Grandmaster. Now, because of the Shaman's effect, he can't use the Grandmaster Search. So we're not overly worried about it. He's going to swing in for damage here, which is fine. So we're basically in a bit of a top deck situation here. We're going to use Lightning Storm, wipe out his field. We're, sick of looking at those guys. Then we're going to pass. So this is literally whoever can top deck the best card wins. He draws 1, sets, passes. So we're in a simplified game state here. We draw 1, 2 level 8s. We can't do anything with them. So we have to pass again. We're just hoping he doesn't draw into like a Taya or an Emergence, but he does not, luckily. He draws and passes. So a couple of turns of not really very much happening, but we draw into Sanctuary, which is perfect. It puts 2 tokens on our field. We tribute those for the Photon Dragon. Because now we can draw like Galaxy Eyes, we'll special summon the Afterglow Dragon. Use these guys to go into the Prime Photon Dragon, and here is the big finishing hit. Whenever you attack with number 62, you detach the Afterglow Dragon to summon Photon Dragon to the field, and when you do, the Prime Photon Dragon's attack points double up to 11,200. So there's game. A couple of turns with nothing really much happening, but that's fine, you know, sometimes the game is just like that. Very interesting plays from the Sword Soul player. I don't know if that initial emergence play was a mistake or if he knew he wanted to do that just because he had the Mo Yi in hand. I don't really follow, but you know what, who am I to say? But yeah, good game, slow game. Again, shows the weaknesses, shows the strengths, where, you know, once we've got a clear shot, we take the clear shot and win very, very quickly, very, very easily. But if we get interrupted virtually at all, then it goes south. It sums the deck up. And in this modern game, sort of modern age of Yu-Gi-Oh!, you can't have a deck that is like, oh, it's great if I don't get interrupted, because then it's a bad deck. It's as simple as that. But yeah, again, that was game number 3. Let's get into game number 4. Okay, last game of the video here. We don't have a terrible hand, but we're going up against the Phantom Knights. Now, that is either a really good thing or a really bad thing. It depends. Now, we only have one interruption in hand. Depending on how you look at it, again, this Veiler could have been an evenly matched. It could have been a Dark Ruler no more. So this is where it's sort of, you need to think about, do you need to like full tilt commit to the going second play? He's going through just his standard Phantom Knight stuff. I don't think you need me to talk over that. We've all seen it a million times. The Rusty is the thing we're going to choose to negate. Basically, from a card economy perspective, it's just the most valuable. He's going to go into his DPE here, which sucks for us. He's going to set one pass. We're in a rough spot. So we draw one. We're going to go for a trade in here. Trade in, ditch the level 8 to draw 2. We get Ashed. Ash is so detrimental to this deck, because that's 2 cards out of our hand that are now gone. They're useless. This deck has enough of a resource problem as it is. We have to use Soldier, discard 1 to special summon to search 1, but it gets negated by Fogblade, and look at that, 2 effects in, and our hand is gone. That's what I mean by the resource problem. Like, our hand is depleted, it's finished, it's gone. Now, we use Photon Sanctuary, and here typically you would go into the Soulflower Dragon, but Soulflower Dragon needs a monster with at least 2000 attack. All of our monsters are being reduced by 400 by DPE, so none of them are 2000 attack. So that's what I mean by that card in particular completely destroying us, and DPE is everywhere. So we summon Union Carrier just to try and get some advantage, but DPE pops it preemptively. He knows the score, he knows what's going on. DPE comes back. Realistically, there's not very much else at this stage we can do. We're going to fast forward through his plays here, because the Phantom Knights can be a wee bit convoluted when it comes to their plays. I'm not going to try and explain it to you. But yeah, essentially he's just flicking through here, going to the Break Sword, and he'll destroy it to get its effect. Resummon 2. As level 4s this time. He's going to go in the Unicorn. Unicorn, discard 1 to spin the token, so it just ceases to exist. Because then the access code talker is pure BM at this point. He wanted to show off the Royal Finish access code talker, so fair play to him. And yeah, that's game. So that one, yes, I don't like ending on a loss. I don't like doing that. Trust me, if I had the ability to change that, I would. But it just shows what's going on. 2 interruptions. It took 2 interruptions, and our hand was reduced to 1 card. Like, that's what I mean. This deck needs a serious overhaul in generation of advantage, and a few cards that are just, there's no cards in the deck that are self-sufficient. Every card needs another card, and that's one of the biggest problems. The deck needs a bit of self-sufficiency and a bit of card advantage. So hopefully it receives some sort of support. If there's some support in the OCG that I'm not aware of, I don't think there is, but if there is, hopefully it comes to Master Duel soon. If there isn't, I really hope they think up something soon. I know they've been giving a lot of support to Utopia, to Neos, things like that in the future. So Utopia may have some sort of glimmer of hope coming somewhat soon. Not soon, it'll be quite a while. But yeah, as it stands, Galaxy Eyes, cool deck, really, really fun, and it does have the ability to win, but don't be expecting to get the Diamond with it. Don't be expecting to get the Diamond 1 with it. Unless there's like some masterclass out there of people who can play it better than I can, which by all means, if you know a better way of playing it, let me know, I'll try it out. but I'm not good enough to get the time, and we'll move it. We'll set it like that. So yeah, we'll skip past this bit then, and we'll jump into the deck list, cover off some of the sort of key combos, and sort of take it from there then towards the end. Alright, so revisiting the deck list then. So how were we playing it? We were playing a Go Second version. This is the deck list we were playing, you're seeing on the screen. We did have a little bit of alteration back and forth, but not very much, to be perfectly honest. We were initially playing a few more going first type cards, we were playing Cross-Eyed Designator, things like that, but they just proved ineffective against the types of matchups we were losing to. So I do believe the Lightning Storm is indeed a better card. I think perhaps using Dark Ruler No More, if, again, I don't have the card, but if you do have Dark Ruler No More, let's get it up on the screen. Let's get it up on the screen. Dark Ruler No More would be a fantastic one to add in, purely because this counters the vast majority of the current metagame in terms of what we are currently losing to. Now, so if you were to have a mixture of potentially these, if you want to cut out the Ash Blossom, and just go full tilt going second, I'm going to destroy your board. Something like this, maybe even cut the Buster Lock and go for like a couple of evenly matched. Something like, if you just want to go full tilt, I'm going to destroy your board and then OTK you. This is probably the way you're going to want to do it, which may be the best way to play the deck. Again, I don't know because I don't have Dark Ruler No More. I don't think this version of it would work without Dark Ruler No More. I think that would be pretty important. So bear that in mind. If you want to give it a go, that's one of the two ways to play it. In terms of everything else, like, again, you saw pretty much it all in the gameplay. The vast majority of the deck is just built around trying to minimize your leakage and card advantage. So Vanisher can special summon itself, searches the Galaxy Eyes. Orbital equips on the card and then gets sent to the graveyard to search a card. Soldier, discard a card to search a card. So a lot of it is just searching, but not a lot of it is plussing. A lot of it's 1 for 1, a lot of it is 2 for 1. So you're losing and sort of leaking card advantage across the duration of the turn, which isn't what you want in any deck. That's where the deck is currently lacking, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really have very much more to say on it. A lot of the cards here you'll not use very often, like that Safer thing, you'll not use that very often. The Full Armor Photon Dragon and the Cypher Blade Dragon, you can put those on top of any rank 8 Galaxy Eyes card to, you know, destroy a couple of cards. But the combo isn't worth exploring all that much. Your main win condition is number 62 to the face. That's what you're trying to do. Boost it way up past 11,000 attack and just try to get your lethal shot in, and that's where these cards come in, because a lot of the times if you control even like a second Exceed monster, you'll be able to like do lethal over even a big monster like Baron de Fleur. If you have even like one of a rank 8 out or even like a rank 6 in your Infinity, you'll be able to swing for lethal over the likes of Baron de Fleur. But yeah, that's my sort of current thoughts and perspective on the deck. I don't really have very much else to say on it. It's very straightforward in a bad way. So don't take my criticism as me saying the deck is bad and you can't play it. Absolutely play it. Just don't play it with the expectation you're going to beat everything with it. So yeah, that's all I have to say really. So if you have any other suggestions on how you would like this deck to be played, or any other decks you want me to try and cover to make as competitive as possible and give, again, brutally honest reviews as this was, as much as I love Galaxy Eyes, it's just not that good. But yeah, if you've anything else you want to see in that sort of vein, in that regard, again, leave the comments down below, let me know, and subscribe while you're down there. It's completely free and you'd be doing me a favour. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. You all enjoy your day, I'll see you later.